It's the inaugural episode of the Bizcuits and Gravy podcast. Introducing myself, I am Chase Davis, along with my partner in crime, Lynn Roberts. This is an idea I had for a long time, quite a while, almost a year in the making. Never really pulled the trigger, but when you said something to me the other day, you were like, I want to do it. I was like, that's it. It's time to start doing it. It's time to stop talking about it. Let's do this.
I'm glad you took off, man, because I wanted to do it too, but I didn't know the logistics of it. But I knew somebody that knew somebody. So I'm glad. Exactly.
Especially we've had so many conversations, you know what I mean, that we work together or whatever, that we're just like kind of above the level of other conversations that I had with other people. The really dope conversations. And I was like, we could talk about this all the time and like share the knowledge and bounce stuff off each other and like come to understandings that we may not have had before we had the conversation. We could do it for other people too.
Yeah, man, I think it'll benefit too everybody because some of the topics we talk about, man, a lot of people just don't know about it and they're just ignorant to it or blind or just disregard it. And I think it could benefit somebody with this podcast, some information. Also, we can learn, man, a lot of different perspectives from different people.
Absolutely. So for anybody listening or whatever, this is the flow of the podcast. This is how we're going to do it. Bizcuits and Gravy. As the scheduling, as far as how often we're going to do it, we don't know just yet. But we're going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on how many hits and likes. And
exactly, yeah. Share with everybody, your grandma, auntie, all them, everything.
Tell somebody.
So we come up with a topic. Today's topic for our inaugural show is going to be social media. Social media's impact on society and culture, popular culture, and everything in between. So to keep a flow for the show, we come up with three topics, three questions that we decide to choose, and we discuss them. And then we'll move on to the next question, and we'll go on so on and so forth. All right. Our first question about social media is going to be for each one of us to give a reference or correlation to social media that helps you describe its impact on society.
Well, as far as the question of correlation, how social media impacts on society, I think it has a huge impact. Now, it can be negative and it can be positive. Depending on which aspect. The sad and unfortunate part about it is society is usually affected by the negative, whether it's a post or whether it's on news, and that's what usually makes more headlines and gets more flow. People tend to believe that everything is bad based off what they see on TV or what they see on social media. In fact, social media is so powerful. Different celebrities, different businesses pay a lot of money to advertise on it, and also the impact on society directly, considering our youths. It even affects them with bullying and a whole bunch of different ways.
Right. To me, when you say that, to me, it makes it seem like I remember a reference to that was said in the movie Jurassic Park. The gentleman said it was one thing that we decided to do just because we could and never considered if we should, especially with younger children. The access to them in their lives is so just prevalent and so easy, and it's just so in abundance that they don't know what to do, what's wrong, what's right. They don't know how to just, they're not headstrong enough. They're not mentally strong enough or whatever to deal with what they would call the trolls on social media. Yeah. You know, the people who are going to berate them and down them just because it makes them feel better about themselves. Yeah. I'm always going to find something wrong with you because it helps me with me, right? My reference would have been, and I told you this the other day, would be photography. And me being, kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. I know a little bit almost about everything. I've dealt, and I've dealt out with a little bit of photography. That's true. And one thing I came to notice is that with social media, it reminds me of a photographer and how you are so ignorant to what was done to create the picture that you see. You don't know about anything behind the camera. The photographer was able to put in wherever it was. It could have been in a garage. It could have been in a bedroom. It could have been outside in a hoarder's house. Yeah. But all you needed was a corner to create enough space to create a backdrop so that you think it's a beautiful atmosphere. And then my subject, if it's a person, is made up, is dolled up. Mm-hmm. You're not sure. You're really sure what they really look like because almost like the tears of a clown. I just made them look like whatever I wanted to make them look like. And then I take the picture. Matter of fact, I take several pictures.
Yeah.
And then the pictures I like the most, in post-production, I edit the picture.
Yep.
So I was in complete control of what you see in regards to my life, in complete control. And that's what social is to me. You are the photographer of your life, and whatever you put out there is what people may think is there, but it may not be. For instance, we'll see pictures all the time of people idolizing, money and stuff like that. But you have a bunch of money. Well, we think you have a bunch of money because you put it out there that you were somewhere flashing a bunch of money, had a bunch of expensive stuff on, but you don't have health insurance.
No. In fact, most of the times you don't even have the money you say you have.
Exactly. Or it wasn't even your money.
No.
Or it was the same money that was used in the picture that somebody else you were with. You just passed it to somebody else and did it. You know what I mean? So you were in complete control of that. And the more you build upon that, the more it just becomes real. It becomes real. Like, at least we think it's real. Right?
It was isolated to what celebrities and entertainers used to do. They used to have an image that we are shown all the time. They're in character and we believe it.
Right.
We believe every time we see Beyonce, she's going to be beautiful. She's going to be ready to move it to the left, do all these things. But in reality, that's probably not who she is. When we see Michael Jackson, because of the image they portrayed, the first thing we think of is the image, the moonwalk, the dancing. It's a facade. It's the sad part about it, or the downfall about it, is that you are, in essence, in my mind, as it relates to photography or even entertainment and the way it correlates with society, you are the puppet masters, and everybody else who believes that false narrative are the puppets.
Right.
We are getting them to go wherever we want them to go, feel whatever kind of emotion we want them to feel. And most people, I believe, inherently are not happy for somebody coming up or being successful. They hate.
Oh, yeah.
And they wait for your downfall. And that's a sad thing. In fact, the image that's being portrayed on social media can affect people's day. It can make you feel positive. Right. It can make you feel depressed. It can make you feel inept. And that's too much control that we are freely allowing this platform to do. Right. It's some good that can come from it, but we just don't really benefit from that part of it.
And also the idolatry, the false idol that it creates. A person doesn't know that in order to gain the things that you show me that you've gained, whether it be real or not, I have to do something similar to what you have done. I have to look like you. I have to smell like you. I have to be in the industry that you're in. How easy was it? Like the blessings and burdens. Like, people think that they're just going to get these blessings, even though there's not really there. I just showed you something. You just think it is. It's not real. There's no blessing. I really am. I don't even have a place to stay. I don't have a consistent income. Like, it just looks like that.
But you know what? The sad thing about that I've seen, I'm pretty sure it's on all cultures. But speaking from a black man's perspective, a black person, we seem to floss way more than everybody else. I showed my son, and we are the brokest. We spend the most money. These are statistical facts. We spend the most money.
We are consumers.
Yet we have the least money.
Absolutely.
So we're making the rich richer, and then we put on this facade, try to make it seem like we have. Even if we get a couple dollars, we try to make it seem like we've come up. We don't think about, like you said, health insurance. We don't think about investment. I'm more concerned about generational wealth and building things for my kids and my kids' kids. And that's the part that's unfortunate. If we have this money, we don't even know what to do with it. I have no idea how to manage. Don't have a portfolio. Don't know much about stocks. I don't know much about it, but I know enough to invest some money.
Oh, yeah. There's something I saw recently. It was, Killer Mike has a show on YouTube now.
Okay. I know
Yeah. I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes. The first one was something that I knew about long ago. Was that, and this may be controversial to say, and when I say it, I don't mean it like it shouldn't have happened.
Well, there's going to be some things.
It's going to be controversial stuff.
Regardless.
The fact that desegregation took as far as an economic standpoint, out of at least the black community, took it out of the hands of the African Americans and put it into other places. Because when we actually earned the dollar from wherever it came from, we had to keep it in the black community. I couldn't go to Publix. I had to go to the black grocer. I had to go to the lady with the dry cleaning service. I had to go to the gas station that the black man. I had to keep it in the community. So when I got paid and I ate, you ate, and there's other communities that still do that to this day. They keep the dollar in the community.
Oh, Jewish community.
And but we consume. We consume. I think he broke it down. He said the dollar remains in the black community for 6 hours.
That's sad, man.
6 hours compared to, like, I think it was like the Asian community was like 20 something days. Jewish community was more than that. You know what I mean? We earn, we work, we earn, we buy.
And that's what my sister brought that point up years ago, man. Yeah. And it's a catch-22. It's like, and it's same in reference to freedom. Freedom is good, but too much freedom is bad. Right. There has to be limitations. When you desegregate and you've taken the money, that's another form of freedom. You can go wherever you want to go as opposed to bringing it back to your community. We had our own banks, man. We had our own cleaners. We had all these different things. And there's nothing wrong with other communities having that, but we're lacking and we're in control of it. I think another thing, too, we are so, as black people, I believe, and this may be controversial, but I'm cool with that, too. We're selfish. We're selfish in terms of we don't want to necessarily help one another. Oh, yeah. We want to hate on them or take from what they've gotten, as opposed to building upon it.
The crab mentality.
Like either gentrification, bro.
Yeah.
We live in the whole hood, the community for so long, and then we don't do anything with it, and then people come and buy up all the stuff and turn around, just like they did in Brooklyn, New York. We could have bought that, but we didn't.
I'm glad you brought it up because it reminds me of something, and I actually said this the other day. Not too long ago, I said it. I remember, because I went to Florida State. I'm a Florida State alum. You went to Florida State also. Yeah. I remember we had a seminar with our Black Student Union one time. It was like the Across the Track seminar or something like that. Okay. And me, before I speak, I listen like a lot. Some people may not think so. That's in my private life. I don't listen at all. But when it comes to, I'm not going to speak until I feel like I know what I'm talking about. For sure, I'm sure I know that I can actually contribute to a conversation intelligently. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I want to make sure I've taken in enough to be able to give my point of view. Okay. So I would sit back and I would listen, and it almost seemed like an argument that we were criticized for going to Florida State, leaving Florida State and going across the tracks to FAM to do whatever, whether it been parties, whether it was set Fridays, whether it was whatever it was, no matter what, to just, like fraternize with the culture that's more like us. Sure. Because there was too and few of us.
Oh, absolutely.
At Florida State, in comparison to FAM. Absolutely, I'm comfortable with what I've been exposed to. That is my culture. That's my people, right? You know what I'm saying? Not that I can't get along and have a good time with anybody. I can, but it's just something about it. It's something about that thing. The way we do it when we do it. The way we do it is how we do it, right? So we were almost criticized because we went to Florida State and we didn't go to an HBCU.
You mean criticized by the alumni from FAM?
They were current students. They at FAM. It was like almost questioning why we would come there. But I'm like, why wouldn't I come there? Yeah. And I understand. And I celebrate HBCUs to the absolutely. Sure. But me going to Florida State, there was a time where I couldn't go to Florida State. Mm-hmm. I couldn't be here, right? Yeah. So if I were to not go and everybody go to HBCUs, right? Let's just give it back. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody had to do it.
No, absolutely.
I had to go.
Well, you know the crazy thing about it.
But it was like the crab mentality. You should be like, invite me to come so I can. Right.
For technically, probably that's the only way. That's a better school. Well, it is. I've gotten to a better place, so they're hating on that. But they'll be more receptive to a white boy coming over there.
Yeah. Because it's different.
Yeah, they'll be more receptive. They won't hate on him. They're like, oh, you coming over here? You ain't nervous? You good with coming over? Right. And then they'll fill him out for a second, and then they'll appreciate him quicker than us. Right. And we have to change that mentality.
Absolutely.
Man. We have to change that mentality.
It's the crowd mentality. You can't get out of the bucket.
No.
Right, you can't get out of the bucket. Instead of me getting out and trying to pull you up or whatever, but we also got to go back too. But another thing is like the quality though. Like if I were to, better myself and believe in increase in my life and I attain that, or whatever, and I try to pull you along with me. Mm-hmm. The quality of what I'm bringing you have to elevate yourself too.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't give you what it needs to bring you along. I can show you
for sure.
I can't give it to you. No. Like how I did this, I can show you how I did it. I can't hand you how I did it.
Man, right? we work for the city of Pompano. Right. I grew up pretty much in the city of Pompano. So I see a bunch of homeboys still to this day, and I got much love for them. In fact, I feel comfortable. I don't live in Pompano anymore, but I feel comfortable with going into Pompano. Right. I was stepping off the fire truck, bro. I had a homeboy who I saw from school. He asked me this question. He said, how did you get this job? Thinking, well, I went to school for it. I worked hard for it. That's how I got it. Oh, man, I want to do that. I'm like, all right, no problem. Come by the station, man. Right. Come by the station. I pull out one of the paramedic books. He looked at that book like, no, bro, it's too much.
That's it. I can't do it.
Immediately, he was like, no, I'm not trying to do it. So most people want the benefits but don't want to put up the work. And even if you're trying to give them a format on how they can do it, it's a mentality. It has to be a paradigm shifting of your mind so that you see bigger, you believe bigger. It's more than rap, hip hop. It's more than sports for us. We can do a lot more, contribute a lot more. We're just as athletic, just as smart, just as mind and business savvy. We just have to apply it. And number one, control our emotions and don't be afraid to fail. And when there's genuine help, accept the help, man, and don't want to give up so easily.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I've had plenty of experiences where I've done that myself. Like, I'm like, okay, this is how you do things, but it's work. Like, it's work. And once you attain it, once you get there, it's even more work. You know what I'm saying? The reaping and sowing. You know what I'm saying? The sowing is work. The reaping is work too.
It's life.
Like, it's all work. All right, we're gonna move on to our next question about social media. In your opinion, Lynn, is social media a good or a bad thing for popular culture?
I think social media, for popular culture so far, if I had to choose one, I would say it's bad. Now, there's some beautiful things about it. I would say it's bad because of the impact it has. The foolishness and the separation and the false sense of purpose and reality that it does. It causes more harm than good. What I mean by that is they paint a facade, like you said, a photographer. It is a picture. Everything on social media, except for if you're having some kind of breakdown and you be like, I don't feel like living or whatever, and that's unfortunate. But everything on social media is the best part of people. Mm-hmm. So people are trying to reach this unobtainable goal that even the portrait or the person posing in the portrait does not have.
Right.
And people cannot separate that. Not to mention, I said this once before, social media is the death of creativity.
Oh, yeah.
It's a death of conversation and intimacy. People are not watching their children because they can't even separate from their cell phone because they're addicted to social media.
Right.
Like your child is failing and you can't even recognize what he or she's going through because you're consumed about the next topic that bring up or how many likes you got on a picture. So I think, man, and then your creativity is turned off because you're not even maximizing your mental capacity because you're consumed with social media, seeing what the next person is doing, what's the next topic, what this person got on, what this person said.
Right.
Like this morning, Chase, I showed you a text message on my phone. My daughter made a post. I don't have social media. That's by design. Don't want it. And my whole family blew up, and now it's a quarrel. I don't know the post, but
never saw it.
I saw the post, I want to respond on social media. You understand what I'm saying? It creates too much negativity, has too much power, and people are misusing the power. I'm sure that the people who invented Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, their intentions were good.
Right.
But now it's been turned to something negative and awful. On the flip side, there are some good things. If somebody's hurting, and you can because nobody really talks anymore. They post everything.
Right.
If they're hurting, at least you can reach a person like that. You can reach people you haven't seen in a while. But for me, overall, I think it's a bad thing.
Right. In contrast, I do have social media outlets. And some of the things, before I had a very enlightening period of my life throughout the last year, and that's for another episode, and I'll be more transparent about that. I don't mind it at all. But I was guilty of a lot of stuff we're talking about. The idolatry and stuff like that. But one thing that was consistent with me about social media, I never posted anything fake. I never posted, whatever you saw is what you got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never, tried to doll up a situation to make it look like something that it wasn't. If I was going to post something, that's just me. That's like, and it's still consistent. Like that's just who I am.
Yeah, sure.
But I did utilize it and I did follow other people or whatever. And I don't think I really idolized it because I've always had, I feel like just a different mindset. I thought beyond what I saw.
Would you say you had not idolized, but would you say you had an addiction?
No.
You could have.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have it. I ain't care. I even still till now, I don't have to have it. I don't have to do that. Okay. I don't have to have it. To me, whether it's a good or bad thing, I would say yes, but it's good for the connections as far as business and just the ability to always be able to, like commingle with other people and bounce ideas off other people or learn about other industries or learn what you may be interested in.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like the networking capabilities of social media. In fact, we're sitting here doing this podcast that most people are going to be able to access the podcast via social media.
Absolutely.
Right. Just spread the message that we're talking about and how we wanted to do it is because of social media that we're going to be able to get it out there. So in that aspect, it's good. The bad is what, and I'll pick it back off you, is the addictive portion of social media and how you can't. Sometimes it's to a point where some people can't escape it.
No, they can't.
Everything they do is because of social media. In fact, the moments, like precious moments that you could experience with others, you miss it because of your social media post. Like, instead of living in that moment and enjoying that moment, you have to take a picture of that moment to show everyone else in that moment. But in the time that you spend doing that and taking 3 or 4 pictures, videos, whatever, going live and whatnot, you really haven't experienced what you're in Italy
having a wonderful time, but you're concerned about what somebody's
you've missed. There's so much that you've missed.
Yeah, because you're concerned about people in the States living this moment. Me and my wife, we had a serious issue about it, man. It almost, honestly, it was so bad, it almost became part of the downfall of our marriage. And I'll be perfectly honest with you about it. I saw the writing on the wall early. Mm-hmm. For me, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, this won't be necessarily good for me on a selfish level, because I'm like, there's too many old girls, particularly for me, that I don't need to be linking up with if I'm trying to stay married. They may be in my, what it calls, DM.
Yeah,
and I may be in a DM. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just one-sided. I was like, no, I can't live this kind of life. This ain't going to work for me. This is going to be a problem. You don't bring an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic to a bar. Let that marinate. You'll catch it later. So I knew that would be a problem on that aspect. Now, as it relates to networking and meeting other people, now that I've gotten a little bit more older, if I do have a social media page, it'll be with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be strictly for networking and benefiting people. If we use it for ideally what the platform for, we ain't trying to be no hater saying you don't want to be happy, enjoy yourself, but do not be consumed with it. My particular situation, my wife was consumed with it, and she was not able to multitask. I had already stepped away from it. She was still on it. She could not multitask. And got to a point, I said, listen, and she was posting her, selfies and all this kind of stuff and this and that and the third. And I ain't got no problem with that. Be free. But like I told her, while you're posting selfies, my son is failing. This family is falling apart. Mm-hmm. Like, you got this facade and you concerned about lights. And it got so bad, and I thank God she was receptive to my concerns. She saw past that, and she chose our family over that. Some people cannot do that. I remember telling you can post a picture of me hitting the road because I'm out. I don't need no models. I need a wife. I need a mother to my kids. There's a bunch of beautiful girls out here, and it ain't that difficult to get. No disrespect to any of you.
But yeah, definitely the priority of it is in the wrong place, right? It's
absolutely.
Like to prioritize it above your family is asinine. You can't. You couldn't do it.
I can't go in intentionally.
No.
It slowly creeps up and becomes that.
Right, and then you don't even notice it. You don't realize you don't notice it. It makes I don't know. It almost becomes like a part of life.
Oh, for sure.
It just becomes a part of life. Some I do. Some you do. You roll over, get up, and that's what happens.
The first thing you do, typically, people roll over and check their phone.
Right. Over the last year, I've decided to post a lot of things that have moved me in a spiritual aspect or moved me in a mental aspect.
Yeah.
If I see something or read something or whatever, then I'll post it. No matter what it is.
How many likes would you get compared to on that post to something trashy or gossipy or some kind of?
I think most people wouldn't even look at it. They overlook it and not even see it. I post it anyway for that one person who does or whatever, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? That I post it regardless. And also when I go back and look, it reminds me too. Like I remember when I read that.
I remember when I was in this place.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like going back and kind of making sure that to make a lot of the change that happened in my life, I had to be kind of relentless with it. And now I got to be consistent to stay where I'm at.
Is it more social media or the lack of our self-control?
Oh yeah, it's definitely self-control.
Yeah, it's the lack of our self-control for it.
And matter of fact, if you're out of control with social media, you're probably out of control somewhere else too.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it.
Probably.
Absolutely. More than likely. If we're honest. If we can expose the DMs across the world, thank God we can't. It'll be some stuff, man. Right. On every end.
And also, as far as what we value has changed, and social media has not helped that. What is the point of doing anything or earning anything or achieving anything that a lot of people portray on social media if you do not have your family in check?
Oh, absolutely. In fact,
that is the very reason why the people with the most money are still the least wealthy. They have the most money and they still blow their brains out. I can do anything. I can go anywhere. It doesn't matter.
No, you do it.
I can travel wherever I want to travel as many times as I want to go there. And matter of fact, I have so much money that my money's earning more money than I probably spend in a day.
Absolutely.
and I'm still so unhappy
because
I'm still.
It goes back to that statement. Your source. If your happiness is directly correlated to money and materialistic things that will fade, that will go away, that will run out, then you've already lost, in my opinion.
Right.
The true happiness is defined and for me, God and my family, my health, living this life that's not all bad. That's another thing that television and marketing and social media, they portray everything's bad sometimes when something negative happens.
Right.
But people, they really are unhappy, and it's sad because they don't know the importance of family. And they knew it, and our values have changed. Even when it comes to young girls, like I have a daughter, even when it comes to young girls, the image that's portrayed of women on social media is one of thottiness, sluttiness. Not every woman, please don't get up in arms, but it's straight, like you twerking, you doing this and that and the third, that in conjunction with these housewives, that in conjunction with these ratchet TVs, and these, like, this is not the image that I want my daughter to see. This is one time, if you want to get X-rated with your old man, you want to twerk, listen, I'm all about it. But find a balance where you have, you know that old saying, you want a lady in the streets, and the freak in the sheets. Have a balance. Don't put everything out. And I'm going to give you a little hint here, ladies. Most men will look at you shaking your butt all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But will not bring you home to meet their moms. We leave a little bit for us to imagine. And
another thing is, and this is for fellas out too, like you'll idolize that.
Oh.
You'll spend money, you'll spend time,
no doubt about that.
A lot of effort.
Sure.
And still know that you would never get to a point of matrimony with this woman.
Yeah.
You never do it. And I told you this other day, the biggest downfall that we can't control that. I can't stop. And it's not my job. I can't stop you from doing whatever you're going to do on social media. If I try to stop everybody, I might as well shoot myself. Right?
Yeah, it ain't happening.
And forget about it. But when you're in those moments of intimacy or whatever, time spent, whatever you want to call it, at least tell her why.
Why she can't find a good man.
Why it will never be something matrimonial. Why this will never be something that's going to last forever. It couldn't. Right? You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't happen. Because by and large, she may not know or may not understand why. And she may think or whatever, or may have grown up thinking that is something that men want.
Sure.
No.
Based on the image that based
on what
absolutely. She would easily believe that.
Like, women have seen men coveting that behavior.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it.
They've seen that.
Yes.
But it's not real.
No.
That we want it, but it's temporary.
Sure.
Temporary.
We want to
for forever? No.
We just can't sex every day. We just can't be living this. We got to do business, real stuff. We got kids. We got to be parents to them. I think another reason why most men will not tell them, like I told you last time, is because they don't care enough about the person.
Yeah.
And what's unfortunate, she doesn't value herself that much. True. If you demand certain responses from a man, if he cares enough about you, he would do that. Now, I'm not going to get on the Steve Harvey tip and be like, oh, you got to wait 3 months to do this. I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
Fill a person out. If you feel good and it works, have communication, and then build on that. Right. I'm not putting a time limit on it. I don't think love has a time limit.
No.
But the fact of the matter is, at least don't be sex be the first thing that they see.
Right.
Give another image. Have value. And us men, I can talk about the women, but I can talk about, we are some sorry, selfish men too now.
Oh yeah.
We are some sorry, selfish men. In fact, it's so bad out here, from what I've heard. There's so many, I was talking to Chase about this. I said, listen, they're predominantly black women the group of black women are graduating from college far more than we are, making more money, getting more jobs and promotions, and yet we are falling behind.
Right.
We can't even keep up. There's a lot of successful, intelligent women that are out here lonely and can't even find a man.
Right.
Because, and there's a bunch of reasons that contribute to that, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, another show.
Yeah.
However,
might be the next show we talk about.
However, there's certain things for the guys out here that we should want a wife somewhat, in my opinion, somebody to build upon. We shouldn't just want girlfriends and to go from one person to the next person to the next person. I lived that crazy life before, and I can tell you I had to question myself about this, and I thank God for it. I had to say, do I even value myself? Yeah. I think I'm playing around being a player. I'm getting played because I don't even value myself.
You give yourself
to everybody who looks good or can twerk or fine.
Right.
So I had to question myself, and that's a question you need to ask yourself, I think.
Another thing is, like, for me, like, beauty is always had different levels, like, to it. You know what I mean? Like, you could look beautiful, and you may be attractive, and it may attract me to you.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen after that depends on what comes out of your mouth when we start to have this conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, you can open your mouth and say something so ignorant or so mean, so nasty, wherever you got it from, whatever. And now you the ugliest person in the world to me.
Ain't no doubt about it.
It don't matter what you look. I don't care what your picture look like.
That day.
Oh yeah.
That's how we roll.
For sure. Yeah, it is what it is. Or even my thought process is just about that.
Oh, sure.
It's just about that. And that's it. Okay. Yeah. All right. One track mind and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that I ain't trying to make you conform to whatever, to me or what I believe in or what I think a relationship should be. And a lot of what I believe now wasn't even what I believed back then, but because I haven't been participating in that world in a while, but and I don't plan on going back. There's nothing for me there. You know what I'm saying? I got goals that I'm trying to get through with my own family and stuff like that. But yeah, I would. As soon as you open your mouth, it would make you made the choice for me. Now, if it was something that like stimulated me mentally, I couldn't get away from it. Like I genuinely want to talk to you all the time.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. You sound like something that I'd be thinking about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In my quiet time when I'm not even talking to anybody, like or when I'm working at something, or what I went to school for, or the reasons why I do what I do.
Yeah.
We seem to be on the same page with that. I could do something with that.
Oh, yeah,
because that which is right there, that's in your mind will always be there. I can always love you for that. You will not look like what you look like today.
You can fight it all day.
We will never be as young as we are right now.
Right now.
So, but your mind in that stimulation, you could do that we could be 50 and 60. And
it has to come to a level of maturity. And I remember when I was young, I heard my dad said about my mom, because my mom is sick, and she was not sick. I don't want to put that on her. Her body is not as good as it used to be. Arthritis, leg hurt, all this kind of stuff. And I remember my dad saying, because he's never left her side, when she had to go to the hospital, he would stay the night there. And I saw this with my own eyes. I saw the way he loves her. And he said to me one time, you know, physically, things are going to change.
Right.
I love her past that. Like, my mom is not as fine as she was before she had all these kids and when she was in her 20s. Who would be? Most people aren't. But the love there has even gotten stronger because you've gotten past that physical. Like, I'm not as good looking as I once was.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's just the reality of it. However, I think and I believe that my wife genuinely loves me because when I've been at my lowest, she's been right there holding me down.
Right.
And vice versa. I remember she said something to me and I didn't understand it. She said to me that, I love your brain.
Right.
She would say she loves the way my mind works, the way I'm always trying to push forward, the way I see different perspectives. One thing that attracted to me, even though I was out of control still, she saw the way I was a young father and I spent time with my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
She saw the way, she said one time, you invited me to church. So even though you're this young, immature person out there, I know that there's better for you because most men don't
That's something that's never happened. That's something that's never happened before. And one more thing, and it's kind of a little bit off topic, but it is what it is. We let the show flow. Whatever we talk about, bro. It don't matter. As far as like with your daughter, like we definitely have that in common too. You had a daughter when you was 19 years old. I had my daughter when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
My daughter's in the 5th grade, going to middle school. She's 11 years old. Yeah. And I knew, even in my time of just completely out of my mind, control, ignorance, doing crazy stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
I knew that when I had that baby, because of what I saw from my grandfather, who had 3 daughters.
Okay.
And earned the term of endearment of daddy. They call him daddy till the day he died.
Awesome.
Because you can have sex with a woman
and
be a father, but to be daddy
that take a couple minutes
is a term of endearment. Like I had to fight and sacrifice and prove myself to my children to be held highly in that regard. And I knew that I wanted that for my daughter. And I also knew that it was my opportunity, that everything that I liked or disliked about women that I had experiences with, women that I had met, in my family or not, whatever, it was my opportunity to pick and choose all of those values and characteristics that I want to put into this young woman. And I've done it since I was 19 years old, over and over. I'll never leave my daughter. I'll never leave her mind. You don't have to tell my child she's beautiful. My daughter knows she's beautiful. Yeah. I buy my daughter flowers regularly.
Yeah.
Because when someone else does it, you can look at it and be like, oh, thank you. My daddy got me some of those at one point.
Difference. I remember having daddy dates with my daughter. In fact, I plan on going up. My daughter's 19. She'll be 19 this year. She's 18. She's off in college. I plan on going up with her and spending an entire day with her. That's not foreign for us. I used to go and get my nails and toes done with my daughter.
Right.
We would have breakfast. We would spend time together. I've given my daughter flowers on Valentine's Day. I was a 19-year-old kid that knew I did not love anything on this earth more than I loved her.
At all.
I also knew from the perspective of not having a father that was in my life properly, I did not want her to ever feel that.
Right.
She motivated me and drove me to be successful. I did not want her to go to school on career day and be like, I don't know who my daddy is, or be embarrassed of a
Absolutely.
father. Now, my daughter's a young woman now. She's going through transition. There's sometimes she don't like what her father says. But you can rest assured, and this is another thing that I remember when me and her mom broke up, I had a fear that she would forget me.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't with her every day, I wasn't with her all the time, I had a fear that she would forget me. In fact, I would sit my daughter down and be like, what's your dad's name? Like, I would make her understand her dad is Lynn Roberts.
Right.
Like, that's your dad. And, but she never forgot me. And even as she grows and she changes and she evolves, and there's sometimes I'm like, does this girl even love her dad? Does she even know her daddy is?
Right.
She knows who her father is, and I'm grateful for the time that we spent. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't easy. It was not easy, but it was necessary.
Absolutely.
It had to happen.
All right, let's move on to our next question. We rolling here pretty good now.
Go.
Some people believe social media is not even real. Do you think it's real or fake?
Well, it's definitely real because it's a platform which we can use. However, I think the fake aspect of it is, I'll say 85-90% of the posts are fake and a mirage. That part is not real. The image everybody's portraying is not real. I remember seeing a post of somebody and they were beautiful, like they had just posted the picture, but then I saw them in real life. Like, I just saw you, like you just posted this picture and I just saw you. What happened? Like, you ain't nothing like you. With all these filters that they can do and all these different things they can do and the fake lives that they say they are living, in that aspect, I think it's fake. And the sad part about it, like I said earlier, it makes people strive for that. Like, I hear this all the time. It's a new thing. How's it called? Couples goals.
Relationship goals?
Relationship goals. That's what it is. And there's some good relationships out there, I'm sure. But some of these relationships that people are trying to obtain, they're not even happy.
Right.
And then you're surprised later on when they not even together.
Like, how can you post make a post about relationship goals based on someone else's relationship, and those goals are not even goals that you set?
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna have a goal that you didn't make? Because a goal is just a dream with a clock on it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? You just dreamed until you put a clock on. Like, even with the podcast or whatever.
Absolutely.
It was a dream, but the clock started.
It was all a dream.
Like, we did the whole thing at the table. Y'all missed that, but show up at what was it, 6-1. But yeah, you float. You can't.
I'll be there tomorrow.
You be there tomorrow?
I'll be there tomorrow
too.
Yeah. But man,
but yeah. So what was I saying?
The goals.
Oh yeah, your relationship goals that you didn't set. So a goal is just a dream. I mean, a dream just it becomes a goal once you put a clock on it.
Yeah.
So like, even with this podcast, when you said to me the other day that you wanted to do it over there with the clocks, I was like, okay, this is happening on Thursday, right? That was the clock that made it a goal. We doing this on Thursday, right? Everything else was a dream. I had put everything together for it already, and I never done anything. It was still just a dream. In terms of relationships or whatever you and your partner, your significant other, want to achieve, what your purpose is together, it has to be bigger and beyond anything that's right now, anything that won't last. Meaning that, like, even your careers, right? You have to have a relationship goal that you set together that the individual careers are going to go towards.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to lead you to something that's beyond what your retirement, beyond when your kids are little, beyond when you have grandkids, because it's going to be hard times when, our parents are going to get sick and our parents are going to pass away unless something else happens, you know what I'm saying, God forbid. But, you know what I mean, these are times we're going to have to go through and prepare ourselves for mentally that our goal is what leads us through them. Like, it carries us the distance of our entire lives.
And it could bring you closer, too, if you guys are on the same page in that aspect. Not necessarily the same job, but the same career aspirations. We want to move forward. We want to push. And as it even relates to, like we said, those relationships, and like Chase said, We didn't set those goals that they set. We don't know the work they took. Now, it's cool to appreciate a good relationship if you see it. We're not hating on that. It's also cool for you to ask and go through. If people are genuine, relationships that haven't stood the test of time. Like me and my girl have been together for so long. We've been married almost 12 years. And a lot of people come to us for advice, and we can give them from some of the mistakes that I've made and that we've made. But I can tell you this. If you sit down long enough with anybody who's been in a relationship for a while, they will tell you some hard times that they had to overcome.
Absolutely.
On both parts.
Right.
It's the staying power. It was not what made her look so good that kept you with her. It was not the good sex that kept you with her. It was a love, a common goal that made you guys be able, God, that made you guys able to cross over those hard times. And I will tell you this. Once you get over the hard times and it seems like it's killing you, it seems like you don't want to move forward, but you still love that person. You got so much invested in that person. Right. The grass ain't always green on the other side. Let me be clear about that. Secondly, once you get over those things, it's amazing how you guys become closer. Right. I heard it before, and I said, that's a bunch of bull crap until I lived it myself.
Right. The hard times is something that, everybody's going to go through them. Yeah. Right. The hard times and what happened in the midst of them is what gave the relationship its character, right? Yeah. Like I feel like now, so even still youth, I'm still young, but I feel like even everything I've ever gone through, I can go through anything as long as I have my family. I can make do anything if I have my family. If I don't have my family, it may be something simple. It may be something that I should be able to transcend above or get through whatever, and I won't make it without my family. It is the foundation. It's the grounding. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Faith first. Faith. What I've learned and what I've found through my faith is evident in my family. My family is the evidence of that, or whatever. The way that I'm transitioning my parenthood. I've never been a bad parent, at all, but I'm starting to prove the values and the gifts of God to my children more every day, really.
They're going to need that, and it will not matter. I told somebody before I teach, I'm more concerned about my kids' faith in God and trust in knowing who Christ and Jesus is, more so than degrees in their education, because they will not. When they're going through hard times mentally, you can have degrees all over your wall, and that's fine. I've seen it. If you're not mentally tough with your faith, when God, and you need help from the Lord, your degrees cannot help you. You're going to have to know that God has got your back, and on top of that, your family, your support system. I remember, speaking of when you said you was all got to go back, some spark with me when you was like, I've always been a good father. Most people tell me I'm a good father, depending on the day. Some people say I'm awful. Mm-hmm. I've consistently been a part of my daughter's life, and I'm speaking particularly on my daughter because my daughter is not from my wife. She was before my wife. Mm-hmm. I constantly battled. Even though I spent time with my daughter, took care, we hung out, we done a lot of great things, gave her this and this and that and the third. I remembered the times I was not there. And in my mind, I was a terrible father because I was not with her every day. Right. She was not with me every day, and that's my fault. I took that blame. Right. Now, granted, me and her mom was honestly, we were just too young. Mm-hmm. We were too young, and the odds were stacked against us as far as making it. But whatever the case may be, I was not there every day with my daughter, because I was not in a relationship with her mom anymore. Another man had to spend time with my daughter because her mom got married again. Right. I thank God the dude was cool. We had a conversation. That's a frightening thing in itself. Yeah. But I didn't feel like I was as good of a father to my sons as I was to my daughter because I was not there every day. And that still haunts me to this day. Right.
So from my perspective, and I never answered the question, I say social media is fake. Maybe. Okay. It is fake only if you have a complete and true perspective on what you're looking at. Okay. Which is what we're talking about. Yeah. If you can share what we're talking about and understand what people are doing on social media and what they're putting out for you to consume, then it is indeed fake. Yeah. You can enjoy it, you can dabble in it, do whatever you want, you can post whatever you want to post, whatever. If you understand that it is indeed fake, because you do not know everything about this person, this individual, or anything that they've gained or anything they earned, anything about their past, health, anything. You don't know nothing. So it is fake. It is what they allowed you to see. But if you don't have the perspective, it is absolutely real, because whatever you've taken from it has made a difference in your life. Just like you talked about with your wife being, almost like an addiction to social media or whatever, and things falling apart.
Sure.
Because it became real then. That's what made it real.
You chasing this facade and your real life is falling apart.
Exactly. Right. That's what makes it real, right? If you can maintain your perspective on what it is and utilize it for what it was truly made for, which was a tool.
Sure.
It was a tool to network.
Absolutely.
Right? But Facebook, even back with MySpace and all that, it was a tool so that you could network with other people.
Now, I had a MySpace page.
I bet you did. I bet you had a MySpace page. I bet you did. You probably still got one out there somewhere.
I don't know. I hope not.
But as long as you understand that, based on the things that we're saying and the reasons why it's fake, then you'll be fine, because you can walk away from it, put your phone down or whatever, understand that I got to get back to my reality, back to my life, right? In order to in order to truly earn the things that I'm looking at on social media, it's going to take me having being grounded here, finding my niche in life, finding what makes what I love to do, what I'm good at, and exploiting that, and getting over a lot of the fears of kind of taking a leap of faith and doing it. A lot of people are very talented or whatever. They hold themselves back because they talk to themselves about how they don't feel like they can do it, or they don't have the knowledge to do something.
The funny thing about that, I just spoke Sunday about fear and how on the other side of fear is opportunity. It is accomplishment. There's nothing, and I don't have a bunch. There's nothing I have or have accomplished that did not cause me some kind of fear because I didn't know.
Right.
It's cool to have fear, but fear, when it becomes paralyzing and it stops you from moving forward, that's when it's a problem. Right. There's healthy fears, and then it's like overcoming that fear. And even on top of that, and this may be off topic too, but I will say this. Anybody telling you what you cannot do, use that as motivation. Do not believe what they're saying, because they are liars and they're limiting you based on their limitations that they set for themselves. I call them liars because I know that God cannot lie.
Yeah.
And if he said all things are possible through Christ to those who believe, that tells me that anybody saying opposition of that is a liar, because he cannot lie.
Absolutely.
And that's the drive, and that's what I try to embed in people and try to teach people. This whole podcast thing may go somewhere, it may not.
Right.
But I can live with attempting and failing.
Absolutely.
As opposed to this stuff just sitting and chasing calls, because it wasn't mine. And we have no idea where it could go.
Right.
And even if it just impact anybody,
one person is good enough for me. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. In terms of the perspective that I'm talking about, is I think that's the goal of this episode. The goal of the episode is to talk about these questions, give our ideas about it. We hope that people post and comment about it, give us more questions, whatever. Sure. So we can bring it back. We can bring it back and talk about it again.
Tell us when we were wrong.
Tell us where we were wrong, where we were right. Yeah. Add to the conversation or whatever. Yeah. The purpose of the whole Business and Gravy podcast is to go through these questions so that you can take them elsewhere. Take them to your small circles, your family, your friends, your coworkers. Have your conversations on lunch breaks about what we talked about today, and bounce things off of each other. Or even maybe have a realization or revelation to yourself that I do have this issue. I'm addicted to social media.
Yeah, and most
my name is whatever. I have a social media addiction.
Hey, if you can separate it and use it for the tool of networking, or even just for entertainment. It's like I watch basketball. It entertains me. If you can do that for a purpose and it does not get or interfere in your daily life or does not control your emotions. I remember a person who they would be fine, but they'll be having so many friends on social media, because people tend to post when they're having bad days on it as well. It ain't all good. Mm-hmm. Everybody's having a bad day. This person, that person going through. Now my whole day is ruined because they're having a bad day.
Right.
Like, I empathize with you because you're having a bad day, but I don't need your bad day to cause me to have a bad day.
Right.
You understand what I mean? And that's the type of power, and that's the perspective we're talking about in terms of being able to separate it, leave it for entertainment, grasp what you need, move forward, move on. Live this life that you're in the physical, because one, is not guaranteed. It's here today, gone today. Secondly, life is beautiful if you can just take your eyes off the facade and off of social media, particularly for a while and live it. It's beautiful seeing your kids play outside. It's beautiful being at a basketball game or a football game or a cheering event, watching your kids do what they love, but your phone is not on.
Yeah.
People can't even go to dinner, a date. Me and my wife sometimes just look at them without both of them looking at their phones.
Yeah.
And they're most times looking at social media because I take a glance at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I said it's the death of creativity. It could be the death of creativity, the death of conversation, the death of intimacy. They want to post what they're eating. And I don't give a damn about your crab salad or whatever you got, player. Enjoy the crab salad. Eat the salad. Eat it. Everybody don't want to know about it.
All right. We're going to wrap this episode up. Everybody who listens, anybody who listens, you can follow Biscuits and Gravy Podcast. It's going to be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. That's Biscuits with a Z. Bizcuits and Gravy. And why is the show called Biscuits and Gravy? Because it's good. Matter of fact, if you don't like Biscuits and Gravy, just don't listen to the show. Don't listen to the show.
Well, you got to know a lot of people, they have conscience.
Well, I said like it. I ain't eat all day. I ain't had Biscuits and Gravy in a while. But I like it. If you don't like Biscuits, just don't listen.
Well, don't listen, man.
Forget about it.
If you don't like
Biscuits and Gravy.